After taking over 300 flights, I've discovered that there are specific strategies that transform a long haul flight from an experience that you dread to one that you might actually enjoy. Today, I'm sharing 7 must know long flight tips that both frequent flyers and flight attendants swear by so you can make your next flight your best flight. The first must know tip before a long flight is to prepare for the worst part of it. One of the worst phases of flight is takeoff, as many travelers experience intense ear pain during this time, which can cause a lot of anxiety even before you board the plane. And while this doesn't happen to everyone, it is definitely not worth risking when there is a simple solution. I highly recommend investing in a pair of earplanes, as these special pressure regulating earplugs are specifically designed to slow the pressure change in your ear canal, giving your ears more time to adjust naturally. You can find these, as well as similar reusable products, on Amazon, and it's a small price to pay for preventing what can sometimes be excruciating and unpredictable pain. If you are on a flight without earplanes and you start experiencing that telltale pressure or pain, start swallowing hard repeatedly. The swallowing motion activates muscles that help open your eustachian tubes, allowing your ears to equalize. Chewing gum, yawning, or drinking water can also trigger this swallowing reflex. But what do we do about those tiny economy seats that feel like they're designed for children? There are several hidden features built into your seat that airlines don't seem to go out of their way to tell us about. The second must-know tip is all about maximizing comfort in economy seats from the moment that you sit down for a flight. Economy seats are not known for their spaciousness, but there are several hidden hacks that can dramatically improve your comfort. First, look for a secret button on the underside of your armrest. Most middle and aisle seat armrests can be fully raised by pressing on this button, instantly giving you extra space. This can be a game changer, especially if you're lucky enough to have a seat free beside you, or if you are traveling with someone that you don't mind sharing the space with. The second comfort hack relates to that tiny pathetic excuse for a pillow that the airline often provides. Instead of using it for your head, place it behind your lower back. This simple adjustment can help maintain your spine's natural curve during long hours of sitting, preventing that all too familiar back pain that comes from extended flights. That pillow is going to get much better use when you place it here, as opposed to placing it behind your head for support. As for neck support, many modern airplane headrests are more adjustable than most people realize. You can often fold the sides to cradle your head, as well as move it up and down to match your height. This fully removes the need for a neck pillow. However, if you do bring a neck pillow, try wearing it in reverse, with the C shape in front rather than behind your neck. I know it sounds strange, but this position provides much better support for side sleepers and prevents your head from bobbing forward. I'd love for you to share your own comfort hacks for a flight down in the comment section, and don't worry, I've got another good comfort hack coming for you at number 7. The next must-know tip addresses one of the most overlooked aspects of flight comfort. We've already talked about takeoff being one of the worst parts of flying due to the potential ear pain, but let me tell you about the second worst part, which is when you first board a flight. The air conditioning system typically doesn't kick in until the engines start, which means you're sitting in what feels like a sauna with hundreds of strangers. Not for me. And then comes the third worst part, which is a couple hours into the flight when the cabin has transformed into what feels like a refrigerator and you're shivering uncontrollably while trying to make that paper-thin airline blanket work overtime. These dramatic temperature swings are exactly why what you wear on a flight is going to matter, and why I am such a fan of today's video sponsor, Unbound Merino. Merino wool has natural temperature regulating properties that keep you feeling cool when it's hot and then insulate when it's cold, which is a special kind of magic you'll appreciate on a long flight with unpredictable cabin conditions. Plus, it naturally resists odors, so while you might not be feeling your best 6 hours into a flight, your clothing won't show it. Merino wool is also known for being lightweight and soft and comfortable against your skin with zero itch factor. Unbound Merino has a ton of options for stylish, high-quality clothing for both men and women, and one of my favorites is their travel hoodie, which is so soft and so flattering. The travel hoodie is also available in men's, and if you are a man watching this, don't make the mistake of skipping out on their men's travel pants. I've seen these in person and wow, I'm not blushing, you're blushing. Check out the link down in the video description to learn more, and then use the code MEGAN10 at checkout for an exclusive discount on your first purchase. And at risk of giving you a little bit too much information, but on the note of being fresh, if you do have a long flight or multiple long connecting flights, bring a change of underwear or even wear a panty liner that you can throw away partway through. Trust me when I say, your future self is going to thank you for this one. Nothing is worse than being stuck on a plane with a dead device, which is why the third must-know tip focuses on keeping your devices charged throughout your flight, which is absolutely essential for entertainment unless you are trying the new raw dogging flight trend. Also, not for me. In addition to always boarding the flight with your device fully charged, it's worth checking what power options will be available at your seat for the specific flight that you're taking. You can do this by searching for your flight number on sites like SeatGuru or directly on the airline's website under aircraft features or onboard amenities. This simple research can tell you exactly what to expect, whether there are power outlets, USB ports, or nothing at all. If you have a newer device that only has a USB-C connection, bring an adapter since many airplane outlets still only accept USB-A. This small adapter costs just a few dollars, but it can be the difference between enjoying your flight with a fully charged device or staring at a blank screen for hours while unintentionally raw dogging the flight. It's also important to know that if you have a power outlet at your seat, you probably need to share it. In economy, there are typically only 2 power outlets available in a row of 3 seats. These are usually located on both sides of the middle seat, which you can find by your feet. And if you know you need a power outlet, you might want to grab this as soon as you sit down. Don't be a jerk and be sure to share the outlets once your device is fully charged, of course. I do want to touch on bringing a power bank onto the plane to charge your devices, as airlines have become increasingly strict about what types of power banks are allowed on flights. There have been a few issues, to say the least. Because of this, many airlines have implemented new restrictions on capacity, and some have even banned certain brands and models altogether. Before packing a power bank for your flight, be sure to check with the airline's website, as these rules can change without much notice. Most travelers bring a water bottle on flights, but there is a much better option that flight attendants have been keeping secret. And the 6th must-know tip is to upgrade your water bottle with a wide-mouth thermos instead. A wide-mouth thermos is the ultimate flight hack, since it can do everything that a water bottle can do, plus so much more. This simple switch is a game changer, since hot water is available on basically every long-haul flight if you ask the flight attendant or if you visit the galley area. With a wide-mouth thermos, you suddenly have access to hot beverages and even hot meals throughout your entire flight. I will always pack a few tea bags, instant oatmeal packets, and cup of soup packets in my personal item bag. And then when I get hungry between meal service, I simply ask the flight attendant for some hot water, and within minutes, I'm able to enjoy a warm and comforting snack. You can also ask the flight attendant for things like decaf coffee or hot chocolate, which is usually available, but usually not offered to you. I personally love to order a decaf coffee mid-flight. It's made fresh with hot water from an instant packet, as opposed to being poured from that lukewarm canister of regular coffee and tea that is rolling down the aisle on the cart. Skipping caffeine while flying is also a good idea, especially if you're crossing time zones, as it can help keep your body clock on track and make adjusting the time at your destination easier. One more thermos hack for you is that I also love to bring electrolyte powder packets. Flying is incredibly dehydrating, and plain water often isn't enough to properly rehydrate your body. When the cabin is freezing cold mid-flight, I'll mix an electrolyte packet with hot water for what essentially becomes a warm, hydrating tea that combats fatigue much more effectively than regular water does alone. It might sound a little bit strange, but a hot electrolyte drink is surprisingly tasty, and it does make a difference in how you feel after a long flight. There are dozens of other small comfort items that I will pack for every flight, from floss sticks to lip balm, and I've created a one-page downloadable checklist with all of my flight essentials that you can grab for free using the link down in the video description. It's the same checklist that I personally refer to before every long-haul flight to make sure that I never forget anything important. The next tip is all about entertainment, but we're taking it next level with what I call the tax rule. Most travelers know to open streaming apps like Netflix and Disney Plus to download content for offline viewing during the flight before the flight, but most people make a critical mistake by just downloading whatever's convenient or whatever they've been meaning to watch. This approach completely misses an opportunity to make your flight not just bearable, but actually enjoyable. Enter the tax rule, which is essentially saving special content that you're excited about for the flight. I call this the tax rule because, like most people, sitting down to do my taxes is something that I dread every year. So I save a new album release from my favorite artist, get a yummy drink and some snacks, light a great candle, and even use my foot massager at my desk. And because of this combination of all of these different elements, I almost look forward to doing my taxes. That's a bit of a stretch. Almost. Here's how to apply the tax rule to a long flight. In the days leading up to your flight, identify a new season of your favorite show, or a book that you've been wanting to read, or a podcast that you've been meaning to listen to. Download it, but then here's the crucial part. Don't allow yourself to start it until you are on the plane. This creates a sense of anticipation that transforms your flight from a tedious experience to an opportunity to finally enjoy that content without interruptions or guilt. I personally held off on watching a new season of White Lotus until I was on my flight to Asia, and knowing that I had it coming, I found myself actually looking forward to the flight rather than dreading it. It sounds so simple, but the psychological effect is powerful, and then instead of viewing your flight as time that's being lost, it becomes dedicated time for entertainment that you've been eagerly anticipating. Just remember to download everything well in advance, and then test that it's going to work for you offline, and ensure that your device is fully charged. There is nothing worse than getting on a plane, settling in for your much anticipated entertainment, only to find out that it did not download properly. Wah, wah, wah. There are several tricks that flight attendants use themselves but rarely share with passengers, and these insider hacks can make a world of difference, which is why for tip number 7, we're just going to rapid fire some bonus tips that will take your in-flight experience to the next level. Once the plane is in the air, pull your personal item bag out from underneath the seat in front of you and place it behind your calves. This gives you extra legroom to stretch out while also keeping your belongings secure from potential theft. Just remember to keep it tucked away under the seat in front of you for both takeoff and landing. This is an FAA safety requirement. A simple but truly impactful tip is to always keep your seatbelt visibly fastened over your blanket or your clothing when you're sleeping. Flight attendants need to make sure that all passengers are buckled up when turbulence hits, and this prevents them from having to wake you up to check if your seatbelt is buckled. And if you have ever actually managed to fall asleep on a long flight, you know how much it sucks to get woken up, especially if you were following the rules all along and you were buckled up, but it was just hiding underneath a sweater or a blanket. If you plan to watch shows on your phone, you can use your sunglasses as a perfect impromptu phone stand on your tray table. Or try this hack, which is to slip the air sickness bag between your phone and your phone's case to create a hanging display from the tray table. And if you do plan to use the seatback entertainment system, know that many airlines will now charge you for the headphones, and they're still going to be terrible quality. The good news is that some newer plane models have Bluetooth connectivity for your wireless headphones. Check your specific flight model using the same method that I mentioned earlier for checking power options at your seat, and then be sure to pack accordingly by bringing your own set of wireless or wired headphones from home. There are a ton of airline updates rolling out this year, some good, some not so good, and I break all of them down so you know what to expect and how to best prepare for your flight in this video that's on the screen now, as well as linked in the video description. Don't forget to head to the video description to download my free checklist on what you should pack for the flight, and then also hit that subscribe button to join Ollie and I back here for more travel tips and hacks each week. Bye.